Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this week's Hexagon Hacks with Digital Thinker. My name is Rebecca, and I will be facilitating today's session. I imagine by now you know the format of these sessions, but our goal is within 15 minutes to either introduce a new topic or share some tips and tricks or lessons learned along the way. Today's topic is going to be on tools. And I'll just preface this as being maybe part one of tools. There's much more associated with managing tools in EAM. So if you're curious about learning more after today's session, definitely let us know and we can incorporate a part two into the Hexagon Hacks schedule. But I pulled these descriptions from the product documentation. So just as a frame of reference, tools are pieces of equipment that a department uses to carry out maintenance work, such as scaffolding or excavators. And the department is usually the owner of the tool. So the department store would keep the tools in stock. In EAM, think of a tool as a type of tool rather than the individual item. And as we walk through today's examples, you'll get an idea of how we can have a simple tool such as a hammer, or we can have a tool that is also an inventoried item. And then building on that, we can also have tools that are tracked by assets. So that would be useful for those high value tools. That would involve setting up a tool record, a part record, and an asset. But let's start with simple tools. In EAM, you can access the tools screen from the work menu under setup and then tools. What I'm sharing on my screen right now is what I call a simple tool. Typically, your simple tools are going to be inexpensive and easy to replace. So in this example, I have set up a hammer as a simple tool. Once you set up your tools, you're able to associate those tools with departments, and that can aid in your planning and scheduling process. I'm going to focus primarily on kind of the difference between a tool, an inventory item, and a track by asset today. But just know that once you've set up the tool, you can then, and this would be maybe a part two item that we could review together in the future, but you're able to associate a tool with a department. And then on a work order, you may have noticed there's a tab labeled Tools Usage. This is where you would be able to go in and associate the tool usage with the work order. So if we used one hammer for a total of 1 hour, we can go ahead and add that to the work order. Okay. And the relationship between the department and the tool, that's where we can define rates. And you can also define the availability of the tools for the department. And like I said, that can be incorporated in the planning and scheduling process. Now, when we're setting up tools, there are also instances where a tool may also want to be ordered and kept in stock. And in that example, or in those examples, you can define the tool as both a simple tool, okay, or tool record, and a part. So an example of that would be perhaps a ratchet, like I'm sharing on my screen. So here we can set up a tool, okay, for a socket ratchet. But if it's something that we want to keep track of in terms of stock or perhaps reordering or replenishing the item, we can also set up a part, and this would allow you to create the relationship between the part and the tool. Okay. So perhaps employees have been misplacing or even not returning the tool at the end of a maintenance task. You could set up the tool as an inventory item, and that would allow you to track the issues and returns. So after defining the tool record, you would need to set up a part, and the link between the part and the tool is going to be specified on the part record view screen. And then in this example, you would be able, because it's set up as a part as well, you would be able to view the transactions. And on the tool record itself, there is the ability to view the outstanding issues. Okay, so we could view the outstanding issues as well as the transactions from the tool record as well. So in this example, rather than just recording our tool usage, we could also track the issuing of the tool to a work order, okay? And that would be done as we would on for any other part. So if this ratchet had been planned on the work order in this case, or I could just add it as an issue, and that can be done on the work order or the issue and return parts screen, I would be able to come down here, enter in my quantity, and go ahead and submit that. And as you can see, our work order here is 18844. If I head back over to my tool screen, and if we take a look here, we have this is the equipment on our work order, and we also have the record shown here on the transactions. Okay. Now, the third scenario that I would like to share with you is those track by asset tools. So that would be incorporating the track by asset functionality. This is going to be useful for high value tools and involves setting up a tool, a part, and an asset. So let's take a look at this. So here we have a torque wrench. So the first thing that we have is our tool, and this is going to be not only a tool, but it's serialized. We want to track not only are we issuing a torque wrench, but which torque wrench are we issuing and returning back into the toolbox or into the tool room. Okay. So the first thing, like we did with our hammer, as well as our ratchet, is you can set up the tool. And then you would also want to set up a part. Okay. And once again, the relationship between the part and the tool is specified or defined on the part record view screen. And in this case, we want to track by asset. If you're unfamiliar with track by asset, we do have a video on our YouTube channel specifically for track by asset, but it's a way of not only issuing a tool or a part, but specifying, a specific part or a specific tool that's serialized and being issued and returned. So it's kind of taking it a step further, and it's not saying a torque wrench, it's saying this specific, ABC123 torque wrench is being issued and returned. So once the part record is set up and it is specified as being tracked by asset, okay, you will see that when we go to the asset screen, okay, I have a couple of torque wrenches that are in store. Okay. And so here we have a torque wrench, okay? And when you're setting up your track by asset records, in this case, we're keeping it in store. It's already been purchased. And you'll see that my part association is defined here. And this particular torque wrench, okay, with this serial number is located in our central storeroom in this specific bin location. So I can have many assets associated with a part. And on that note, you can have multiple part records associated with a tool. Okay. And so here, what we can do is we can come out here to our work order screen. And if I select the torque wrench, which we had planned for this work order, I could come down below and I would be able to specify the transaction type. Once again, it's going to be an issue. We're going to do a quantity of 1. And then I can specify which of these, in this case, it's going to be that wrench 01. And I can go ahead and submit this. And this will tie back to the tool record. So if I head out to the outstanding issues, you see that this specific torque wrench has been issued, okay? And this is my work order. And it's also because it's a track by asset part, we would be able to view the transaction here from the tool record and also from the part screen or even from the store screen. Okay. Now, in terms of, best practice or seeing this, in, work within an organization, I have seen some variables. A lot of times it's just going to be a inventory item. So it's a tool, with the part record. Just know that the outstanding issues that you see here, there is a table. It's R5 outstanding tool issues. I've seen some customers create a grid to display all outstanding issues. And then, they either link that to the part or the issue return part screen or hyperlink it to the work order so that when those tools are returned, they can easily be returned and put away into the appropriate location, whether or not it's a toolbox, or maybe, I've seen them hanging on walls in terms of having a placeholder for the tools, within a specific location. As you may suspect, and as I mentioned, there's definitely more to tools. Like I said, you can associate tools with departments for planning and scheduling purposes. Also, if tools are inventory items, you could kit them, and those items can be issued as part of the kit to an employee. So we see that a lot with toolboxes, is those tools are kitted together, and then the entire kit or the entire toolbox is issued to a specific employee. And then maybe it's at the end of their shift rotation, they return those tools back into the storeroom, and there is a check in place to ensure that all of the tools are in the toolbox.